questions about how you should tune this Losi 3.4 engine, and I'm gonna tell you precisely what the manual says, and I'll quote from it. It says that your new Losi 3.4 engine in your 810 has been machined to tight tolerances and does not need an extended break-in. It is always a good idea, however, to take it easy for the first few tanks of fuel to let all the gears and moving parts seed into one another. Good luck with that. Look, who in their right mind is going to take a new engine and just, quote-unquote, take it easy for the first few tanks? I would not recommend that to anybody. Use your sight, your sense of smell, and your sense of hearing, on how the engine is maintaining, because they do not come out of the box like you expect they would. So, how do we tune this? The stock needle settings are easy peasy Japanesey. All you have to remember is your high-speed needle right here and your low-speed needle, which is right here. The default settings, the stock settings for each of those, it's 2.5 turns out. So all that simply means is, if you ever get in a situation to where you're unsure of how to set the needles, just simply screw both the high speed and the low speed needle in all the way until it gets a little tight. Make sure you don't force it too much, so just until you get a little pressure as you're screwing. And then turn them counterclockwise 2.5 full rotations. That's what you begin with, okay? So understand, every day is going to be a little bit different. Don't use it as a Bible, just like you're not going to use the temperature as a Bible. You want to use your sense of smell, your sense of sight, and your sense of hearing to understand how the engine is going to perform. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again, err on the side of being a little too rich. You want to make sure you're too rich, and then you start to lean it out. Now, I am going to be posting a review of the Losi 810 to give all my thoughts on the pros and cons of the car. Here's a sneak preview. I love it. It's a great car. I will tell you, probably the initial thing that I've noticed is that the tires, and these are actually the front tires right here, and I've rotated them. Look at the front, okay, compared to the back, or look at the tread on what used to be the back compared to what used to be the front. It is amazing how much it's worn. And so a lot of it has to do, of course, I've driven it mainly on asphalt, so these pins here are not too deep, but they're long enough to where they are bending and obviously rubbing on the concrete. There was a lot of burnt rubber, if you will, that had gotten all over the car. Once again, I've got to keep these things spick and span. My favorite part of Nitro RCs is cleaning them, to be honest with you. But other than that, I have absolutely loved the car. So with that, let's go ahead and get it started. This will be interesting because it's been a few days since I've started this car, and we'll see how it goes. Up until this point, as mentioned, we're about 15 tanks through it. It's been an incredibly reliable engine. Knock on wood, but let's see how she does. Okay, so we've got the shell on. Hopefully the glow plug is good. Let's see what we get. There you go. But of course, before we do that, let's check out what we're rocking for dinner tonight. As always, we've got to run some Nitro RC cars, cook some fajitas. That's right, we're having some skirt steak fajitas along with chicken fajitas. This is just round one.
It's like grass over concrete.